In a wild Truth Social meltdown, the president, Donald Trump, attacked yet another federal judge, calling them a radical left lunatic, a troublemaker and agitator, and of course, making sure that we all know they were appointed by former President Barack Obama, because to Donald Trump, the biggest crime a judge can commit is existing in a world where they don't see Trump as being above the law. Donald Trump is losing it again, but this time it is not just incoherent ranting. It is incoherent ranting, but it's more than that. It is a direct call for judges to be impeached when they make a ruling that Trump doesn't like. He goes full dictator. Take a look at this. Quote, "This radical left lunatic of a judge, a troublemaker and agitator who was sadly appointed by Barack Hussein Obama, was not elected president. He didn't win the popular vote by a lot. He didn't win all 7 swing states. He didn't win 2,750 to 525 counties. He didn't win anything. I won for many reasons in an overwhelming mandate." Remember, it's an overwhelming mandate in which more than half of the voters voted for somebody else. Trump continues, "But fighting illegal immigration may have been the number one reason for this historic victory. I'm just doing what the voters wanted me to do. This judge, like many of the crooked judges I am forced to appear before, should be impeached. We don't want vicious, violent, and demented criminals, many of them deranged murderers, in our country. Make America great again. 3 exclamation points. This is not about crime. This is not about immigration. This is about power. At a core level, Trump believes, and his followers are egging him on in this belief, Trump believes that any judge who doesn't rule in his favor should be removed. No checks, no balances, just blind loyalty to Trump. That is the core of Trumpism. You know, we often say there's really no principles here. A lot of the recent interviews I've been doing for my book, we talk about the chapter on how the principles that this party claims to subscribe to are thrown by the wayside and flushed down the toilet as soon as they're inconvenient. Oh, we're against government intervention in business until we're not. We are for fiscal conservatism and balancing the budget until we're not. And we want to spend a bunch of money on giving tax cuts to the rich. And so we say that there really is no foundational core to Trumpism. That's not totally correct. The foundational core of Trumpism is loyalty to Trump. And so when a judge says, I will evaluate the law and apply it to the facts, the Alien Enemies Act doesn't really apply to deportations in the southern border. There has been no due process to these individuals who have been deported and sent to El Salvador. Turn the planes around. That's my ruling. Trump and MAGA go to their really only existing core principle, which is loyalty to Trump. Not law and order, not democracy, just raw power and loyalty. And as Ruth Ben-Ghiat told us last week, if you're familiar with 20th century strongmen authoritarians, you understand that authoritarians do not believe in an independent judiciary. That is a principle of democracy, an independent judiciary, truly independent, that authoritarians don't believe in. They see the courts as an extension of their own will. We've talked about how in formerly Hugo Chavez and later Nicolas Maduro's Venezuela, the courts became an extension of the government's will. And when the courts don't obey, and you're someone like Donald Trump, you do the natural thing. You go after the judges. That's what we are seeing here. It's not the first time. Remember that Trump has spent years attacking judges who rule against him, whether it's in fraud cases, in criminal trials, in cases where he's not personally involved, but it involves his administration, for example. He threatens them. He tries to delegitimize them. This goes all the way back to the first Muslim ban in Trump's first term, where he said that because a judge who ruled against him was of Mexican origin, if I recall correctly, the judge is American, but had Mexican parents, he couldn't possibly be an unbiased arbiter when it comes to that issue. He tried to delegitimize that ruling now nearly a decade ago. And now he's outright saying these judges should be removed from office. This is how democracy breaks down. When politicians decide that the courts only count when they rule in Trump's favor, the whole system collapses. Because Trump doesn't just want to win cases, he wants a legal system that exists solely to serve him. That's what dictators want. That's what makes this so dangerous. And if we look at history, you look at the 20th century around the world, you look even at the 21st century in parts of the world, we've seen what happens when judges are stripped of their independence. We've seen it in Russia. We've seen it in Hungary more recently, 21st century. And we are starting to see attempts to do the same thing in the United States. Now, someone who is warning Trump, this is not a road you want to go down, is Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, John Roberts. But as you will see in a moment, Roberts has his own self-serving reasons to be worried about this. Let's talk about it. Guys in my audience, I know you're tired of the chafing with traditional underwear. Our sponsor, Sheath, makes the most comfortable boxer briefs I've ever worn. If you're sick of the boxers that are too loose or the briefs that are too tight, Sheath is for you. Sheath underwear is designed with two special pouches in the front. Keeps everything separate in its own compartment with extra confidence that you will feel throughout the day, keeping things separate and comfortable, no more sticking and chafing. I was skeptical about the dual pouch, I admit it, but it is game-changing. Everything stays where it is supposed to be, extra useful when working out at the gym, and even if you don't want to use the pouches, you don't have to. It is still the most comfortable pair of underwear I have ever owned. It will blow your mind how soft and stretchy these are, made with moisture-wicking technology to keep you dry. If you were ready to take underwear comfort to a new place, a place you didn't even know it could go, head over to sheathunderwear.com/Pacman and get 20% off with the code Pacman. The link is in the description.